So if you're someone that has a problem with eating and you binge eat or you comfort eat and you feel like you are in conflict, how many of this land with you here in this video when you go and reach for something, you go and eat, and then you feel instantly guilty about a minute later, but then you still have another part of you that jumps in and goes and does that. What I'm going to share with you here is how parts of you are in conflict, and I'm going to use my own real life example. Okay, I have 5 parts of me that are controlling my food addiction, my food issues, and my food problems. And I've really been working incredibly hard with 5 parts of me to battle my long term condition. I've had a problem with food for, let's say, well over 30 years. Okay, how many of you is that true for? And what I'd love to share with you is not the psychology behind it. I'm not one of those people that's going to go do this, restrict your calories, do that, okay? I want to help you in this video understand and share with you how 5 different parts of me have been feeding my food addiction. And it's only through actually learning to work with this team of me that is actually helping me heal my addiction with food. So, if you've ever used the terminology a part of me, this video is for you. How many of you say there's a part of me that wants to do that? There's a part of me that feels that. There's a part of me. When you're using that terminology, those are different parts of you. But what we love to say is, my name's Kel, but I want you to understand that you have many different parts of you. And what happens is when you are reaching for that food, that part has taken control of you. And in DID, which I was diagnosed in 2016 with multiple personality disorder. DID is where that part, you disassociate and that part takes over you. And in DID, we call that fronting. Okay, well, I do anyhow, all right? And like I say, what I've been doing is working with these 5 parts of me. So I'd love to talk to you about every single part and why they do what they do, because I'd love you just at this point, grab a notepad and a pen. Okay, and if need be, pause this video, go and get it. Okay, and I want you to really listen to what I'm going to share about my story, because I want this video to empower you. Because, oh my God, like, I so want you to find the freedom from comfort eating and binge eating that I've got, and I want that for you. So go and get that pen and paper and let's get started. Right, back. Cool, here we go. So 5 parts of me are working with the whole binge eating and food problems. Okay, so the very first part of me that is the cause of the reason why I eat is 14-year-old me, Kelly. Okay, Kelly has a huge amount of shame and guilt because she is the one that first did stuff with her brother. She started it. And she lives with that guilt and that shame deep inside of her. However, in order to work with my food addiction around Kelly, I had to help Kelly first. I had to unburden her, and I had to be able to get her to feel safe. And I've made many videos, around kind of why we have to be silent, silent parts, etc. But what I really want you to know is at the heart of my food issues, and the reason why I've not been able to tackle my food is because there was trauma sitting with 14-year-old me that I didn't even know. How many of you have no idea why you eat? How many of you are just like, I just eat because I want to feel better? If you have a hollow, empty feeling in your stomach, you have something called mother hunger, all right? And I want you to know that that's okay. But mother hunger is because you're missing your own inner mother inside of you. I made a very recent video, I'll pop it up here, all around who your inner mother is and how you're able to find your own inner mother, and you'll get to meet my own inner mother Bex, okay? But the reason why I was eating was because of the shame and guilt that Kelly felt. Now, let's introduce you to my feeder. Okay, so my feeder, and you have this part too. Okay, this part of me is called Christian. Christian is 9, and Christian is the one who is the sneaky beaky. Okay, so have you ever done this? Have you ever, I don't know, stolen some money? I used to do this as a kid. I used to go and steal money out of my mum's purse, and I used to go and buy food. Christian is the part of me that also will hide food. Christian is the part of me that will go and buy, I don't know, Snickers or whatever, okay? And then we'll gobble them up really quickly and then get rid of the evidence. And then what will happen is another part of me, which I'll introduce you to in a minute, will take over, and that will be the part of me that wants to feel incredibly guilty, which we call the inner child, all right? So Christian, you have this too, is my feeder. And what I've been doing is going, when I want to go and eat, I go to Christian and I'm like, Christian, no. And what I do is I talk to all of my parts. That's the bit that you guys need to do. Find your parts, flush them out, talk to them. Okay, so can you see already that when I start to feel guilty or ashamed, or I think of stuff about my brother and the things that happened, instantly the protector in me, Christian, wants to go and reach for food. Now let's talk to you about Jez. Okay, Jez is 7-year-old me. All right, 7-year-old me also holds massive issues, problems, and trauma, or used to. Okay, so Kelly doesn't have that trauma and that shame anymore because I have spoken to her and I've let her understand that the only reason why she did what she did with her brother was to get back at her mum. And I've let her know that actually, do you know what? That guilt and shame isn't hers. She doesn't have to carry it anymore. And I've listened to Kelly for hours and hours and hours. What I've also done is I've unburdened Jez. Okay. And what I've done with Jez is I have listened to him. Jez was 7 when my dad really stepped things up with the abuse as a child. Okay. And whenever I used to get triggered by anything to do with my dad, okay, I would also feel the need to use a coping mechanism. And quite often that would be food. Okay, so what would happen is when I started thinking about anything about the abuse that happened to me as a child, or I don't know, I saw somebody like my dad, or I saw my dad's name, what would happen is I would disassociate. Christian would take hold, and Christian would go and get me some food. And what is happening is what we tend to do is we tend to phone scroll, or we have a fag, or we go and have a drink, or we use whatever coping mechanism works for us, like I say, food. Okay, and what we're doing is when we're eating, and this is psychology term, we're stuffing down our emotions. So I'm able to understand that because I've spent hours chatting to Jez, but this is all part of a family. Okay, so I use the inner me model, okay, the inner family, and I dialogue with all of my parts. And I also have a beautiful way, which I teach you in a session with me, of how you can get all of your parts in different rooms. You can get your parts in groups, you can get your parts on chairs, you can make your parts into externalization technique. All of these things I can teach you. But what I was able to do when I was unburdening Jez was actually, because I listened and I understood how bad Jez felt with what my dad was doing to me. You know, my dad used to put hankies in my mouth, hypnotize me, blank me out, smother me, all those kind of things that my dad did to me. What I was able to do was listen to everything, but just hold space. That's what your parts need more than anything, okay? Your parts just need you to listen. They don't need you to fix it. They don't need you to solve it. They just need you to listen. Okay, so that's Jez, that's 7-year-old me. So already you've met 3 parts of me. Okay, you've met Kelly, who is 14-year-old me. Okay, holds the guilt and shame around her brother, or used to. Christian, my feeder. Okay, like I say, you have one too. 7-year-old me, who has all the trauma around her dad. Okay, now let's talk about LK. Okay, LK is my inner child. She never existed. For me, your true inner child is an energetic version of you, and they are your operating system. Your inner child is made up of everything that happened between 0 and 9, and it's formed in one chip, which I call your inner child. All right. And my inner child is, like yours, responsible for all my emotions. So whenever I'd feel overwhelmed, or I'd feel very worried, or I would get myself into a state of fear or panic, I know that those feelings, because your inner child is feelings, your inner boy is all the masculine stuff in you, by the way, okay? So your inner child is all your feelings. Your inner boy is all the masculine stuff inside of you. And I made a very recent video all around inner boy, inner girl as well, that you can also find on this page. But what I knew is whenever I would feel overwhelmed, Christian would be activated. So what I want you to know is happening is what happens is your inner child feels overwhelmed, or they feel like they just can't cope, or they're panicking, or they're worried. Or do you do this? Do you chew your nails? Okay, if you chew your nails, that's also a coping mechanism, and that part of you has taken hold. And what was happening, that's deja vu, how weird's that? But what was happening is this part, Christian, was then going to get food because LK was feeling really insecure, or really worried, or overwhelmed about something. So how I also stopped Christian using food was by actually sitting with LK and unburdening her. And I've been working with LK ever since 2016. But actually, no, yeah, LK since 2016 made her first appearance, but I really started working with her in 2020 when I found her. But it took me about 6 weeks to find LK. So that's the 4th part of me that is working in the food model. Is this landing with any of you? Are any of you getting light bulb moments? Pop this in the comments here, or if you don't want to comment, drop me an email if my video has helped you. Someone recently sent me a beautiful email because she didn't want to comment about how my video soul retrieval massively helped on the journey. So if my videos are helping you, please share with me. I'd love to know if this stuff is landing well with you. But so that's the fourth part of me that was kind of working around the food analogy and the food problems. And then the fifth part of me that was also working with the food was Mav. Okay, Mav is 22. Mav is my super soldier, and many of you have heard me speak about Mav. I've been working with Mav for over a decade now. Mav is the very best part of me, and he's like my right hand guy. Okay, and what Mav was doing in the whole food stuff that was going on, Mav was my restrictor. Okay, so if you guys saw me at all on TikTok, you know I massively got into intermittent fasting and I got into starving myself and all those kind of things. That's Mav in the most protective format possible. So when you guys are also going all day without food, or you are starving yourself, or you're doing your celery diet, your juice diet, or you're doing whatever diet it is, for me, that's not a healthy coping mechanism. That is a part of you that has taken over you. Tell me this is landing, all right? But that is a part of you that's taken over that goes, if I restrict that, if I calorie count, if I watch that, oh my God, like Mav loved Fitness Pal, okay? I was so bad. I was so ill in 2016. I weighed and measured everything. Nothing went in my gob unless it was weighed, even an apple on Fitness Pal. Even a glass of water had to be logged on Fitness Pal. I was that ill with my food issues and my food problems and Mav being in control that I used to calorie count everything. How many of you do that? How many of you, you're just like, oh my God, I can't have that. You deprive yourself. For me, honestly, truly, that is the protective part of you that is sitting there. And that's what Mav did. Mav was the version of me that lived on a protein shake. Mav's the version of me that desperately wants me to do a muscle food order. No, Mav. We want hearty good food is what Beck wants. Okay. If you met Bex in a previous video, you know what I mean. All right. But that's what's been happening. Okay. So can you see for example, when either Jez, 7-year-old me, or Kelly, 14-year-old me, feel that trauma, either Christian is deployed or Mav. Okay, so Christian, like you, is a feeder. Mav is a restrictor. Okay, who does that land with? How many of you count calories? Is that part of you called Juliet, Claudette? What names come into you as you're thinking about, oh my God, Kel, you're landing this? Like, I totally get what you're talking about here. Because yes, I can tell you that whenever I want to starve myself or not eat or, I don't know, do something restrictive, I instantly go to Mav. I'm like, hey Mav, what are we doing? And this is how dialoguing goes with my parts, just so you understand. What I'll be like, as I'll be like, this is how I start my conversation with my parts, and you do too, okay? Mav, are you there? Yeah. Can you see I changed instantly as Mav takes over? Okay. All right. Mav, I really want to speak to you, mate, about kind of like why we want to order the muscle food and why we want to really just think about having protein and stuff. And what I want to come from is I want to understand what's going on there with you. Why, mate? Just doing what I need to do, mate. Making sure we don't have much, go to the gym, hit the gym, do the stuff we got to do, buddy. Those kind of things. Got to look good, got to look after ourselves and stuff. Okay, Mav, I understand the things that you're saying and what it is that you're sharing with me, but I really want you to know that we need to eat balanced, nutritious, really good, really healthy food. Oh, yeah, but I just want to look really good. Like, I just want to drop the weight like really fast. Like, I've got all of that stuff. I've got really good shorts upstairs. I've got like really good tops. I've got really good shirts, that kind of stuff. Mav, I can understand, mate. I get totally where you are. Okay. And like I say, this is the kind of conversation I have where I'm allowing that part of me to step forward into me. Okay. I'm having that conversation as Kel in self energy. And you can have that. You don't have to let the part front you. But here's what I want to share with you when it came to binge eating. I let those parts of me front me so I could feel those emotions. When I worked with Kelly around the food, I felt the guilt, I felt the shame. Oh my God, I cried for hours and hours and hours over Kelly and everything that's happened with her brother. When it came to Jez, I've worked with Jez for years and years and years. Okay, Jez is short for Jez Kozianski from Top Gun. Okay, a lot of my parts, if you notice, are kind of all part of the whole Top Gun thing. That's Mav. Names of parts I don't know. Okay, but like I say, when it came to speaking to Mav, I've been working with him for a decade. But anyway, that's how I've been working with my binge eating, my comfort eating. I've got to say honestly, it feels incredible and amazing. And I really hope that you can sit there on your notepad. What names have come to you? Can you identify with the fact of all the stuff that I've given you around food terminology, around binge eating, around the fact that you've got all of these parts? And like I say, I really hope this has helped you, okay? Because this is how I'm working with 5 parts of me. This isn't about restricting me. This is about going. If I want to count a calorie, it's Mav. If I want to binge eat, that's Christian. If I feel that there's stuff with my dad that I haven't dealt with, I go to Jez. If I'm feeling overwhelmed or emotion, I go and parent LK. And if it comes to stuff around my brother, I go and sit with Kelly. You have all of these parts inside of you. And that's why you see me. And that's why I'm a part specialist, because I'm somebody that can help you have and learn to have those conversations. Anyway, if you'd love to know more, come and have a chat with me. All right, 15 minutes. I'm not going to try and sell anything. I would literally just love to meet you, because I'd love to know, like, how am I helping you, or what is it I can do to help you? Because I truly believe, like, having DID and all of these parts that live inside of me, that's my gift back to you. My gift to you in the world is to understand that these parts of you, they take control. But what I want to give you is actually, you need to learn the self energy. That's called being your true authentic self. When you're your true authentic self, you can truly take control and you can stop all of this stuff happening around this food. Anyway, like I say, come and have a free 15-minute chat, or come and join my school community. I do great group coaching over there. We have a Q&A once a month, and we also have a meet and greet, which is a coffee, and there's usually, I don't know, 6, 7 of us having a bit of a hoot and a laugh, all right? But anyway, I really hope this video has helped you. Loads of stuff in the descriptions there, work with me, etc. But I hope this has helped. Anyway, cheers, take care, ta-da, bye-bye.